Nigeria President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has denied being invited by the United States, U.S. President Donald Trump to a working visit to the White House, following a media statement circulated on the internet claiming to have been issued by the office of the Nigeria President. A spokesperson to the President, Bayo Onanuga, in a swift reaction on Sunday, said, "Those behind the press release are clickbaiters," adding, "The Nigeria has not received any of such letters of invitation from the US President." Bayo Onanuga, who described the writers of the press release as fake news propagators, said, "The law would soon catch up with the person or people behind the false and misleading information. Disinformation agents, hoax peddlers, fake news propagators, clickbaiters at work again. Whoever you are, one day, the law will catch you," Bayo Onanuga stated. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said that under his administration, Nigeria is not just one-party state but one party, making a difference. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu stated this during the week, according to the news release made available to the public by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. According to the statement, President Bola Tinubu has attributed the All Progressives Congress, APC's growing support to its outstanding achievements in less than 2 years in office, assuring Nigerians that the country will not become a one-party state. At the APC Renewed Hope Agenda Summit, held at the State House Conference Center on Thursday, President Tinubu addressed party leaders, the National Working Committee, the leadership of the National Assembly, and the Progressive Governors Forum, which comprises 22 governors. All collectively endorsed him for a second term. The party convened the summit to review the administration's 2-year performance across key economic sectors. The president said his administration's focus on economic reforms for long-term gains has continued to receive positive reviews from within and outside the country. A one-party system is not suitable for democracy. We are one party ruling and carrying on with the aspirations of Nigerians. You don't expect people to remain in a sinking ship without a life jacket. I am happy with what we have accomplished and expecting more people to come. That's the game," he added. President Tinubu said citizens have the constitutional right to choose between associations. "I thank every one of you. I am thoroughly inspired. We are just halfway through the journey that started 24 months ago," he said. The president thanked members of the Federal Executive Council for courageously pursuing the vision of a better Nigeria and the party leadership and National Assembly for their support. "Together, we pledge to confront Nigeria's challenges head-on by rebuilding the trust, fostering prosperity and restoring our nation's economic quest. Today, I am proud to affirm that our economic reforms are working. Nothing good comes easy in life. All of you have been through life, and sometimes, only hard decisions can make things easy in the future. We couldn't just afford to spend the future of our children and unborn babies. Through our Renewed Hope Agenda, Nigerian Army in a series of reports during the week says its troops have killed over 44 terrorists in different locations in Borno, Katsina and Sokoto states days after Boko Haram terrorists had on May 12 and 13, 2025 sacked the Armed Forces of Nigeria, AFN military base in Wulgo town, a Nigeria border town in Borno State of Ngala Local Government Area, a throwstone to Cameroon in the shores of Lake Chad. Also, the Boko Haram terrorists attacked and sacked the 3 Battalion, a military formation in Rann, headquarters of Kala-Balge Local Government Area in Borno State, and the military base in Marte town in Marte Local Government Area of Borno State, killing soldiers, overrunning the military formations, stealing arms and ammunitions and setting the military buildings ablaze, including the armed forces' operational vehicles, with the Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, saying, "The Boko Haram terrorists in recent days are currently in control of 299 communities out of a total of 300 communities in the Marte Local Government Area of Borno State," meaning, the federal government under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is barely and currently controlling one community after the Nigeria Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, whose supporters are apparently busy talking and preparing his re-election ahead of the country 2026 2027 general elections had lost territories to terrorists and the Boko Haram terrorists appeared, aggressively advancing and retaking more territories in Nigeria. The Nation newspaper on May 21, 2025 reported that the Borno State Governor, Babagana Zulum, continued his visit to communities affected by the recent surge in Boko Haram attacks by traveling to Wulgo town yesterday. Wulgo, located on the fringes of Lake Chad, was recently attacked by armed insurgents, forcing troops of the multinational Joint Task Force, hitherto protecting the town, to retreat. By visiting Marte, Kala-Balge, and now Wulgo, Zulum aims to achieve a unified front in the fight against insecurity and to stimulate local support for sustainable peace and development. During his tour, the governor engaged with local leaders, listening to their concerns. He announced plans to accelerate the deployment of humanitarian aid, strengthen security efforts, and provide modern irrigation and rain farm implements to facilitate economic revitalization in the town. The governor emphasized the importance of community-led resilience programs while also encouraging residents to take an active role in shaping the recovery of their town. On May 19, 2025, Push newspaper reported that the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, has raised the alarm that only one town out of 300 remains under government control in Marte Local Government Area, warning that Boko Haram terrorists are on the brink of taking over the entire local government area. The governor issued the warning on Sunday following his visit to the area, where he appealed to the federal government to urgently deploy decisive strategies to prevent Marte town from falling completely into the hands of Boko Haram, ISWAP insurgents. Public Relations Unit of the Nigerian Army reported that, in another daring as at the time of filing in this news report on Saturday night, leaders in the European countries have kept mum ever since. On Friday, the United States, U.S. President Donald Trump announced plans to impose 50% tariff on goods not made in the North America country that comes from European countries, with a specific threat to impose 25% tariff on Apple if the iPhone manufacturer does not move production to the United States. President Donald Trump based his actions on what he claimed to be cases of unfair and unjustified lawsuits filed by the European countries against American companies among other reasons, but it could be recalled that earlier in the month of April 2025, when President Trump issued the first tariff threat of 25% on European goods, the immediate past Germany Chancellor, Olaf Scholz had said that even if European countries did nothing in response to Donald Trump-imposed tariffs, the increased tariffs will cause big problems in the U.S. economy, adding that Trump intending tariff increment on EU goods is an economic error, and the European Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, had also in early April 2025 said that the EU countries is the largest single market in the world and the EU have what it takes to retaliate or strike back. President Donald Trump on Friday threatened tech giant Apple with a 25% tariff if the iPhone manufacturer doesn't move production to the United States. He later said trade talks with the European Union were progressing so poorly that a 50% tariff should be imposed next week, June 1, 2025. President Trump proposed that Apple build its iPhones in the US or face a 25% tariff. Tech analysts say that would balloon prices to $3,500 per phone, according to CNN senior data analyst Harry Enton, who analyzed the possible impacts the U.S. president action may cause the North American residents. President Donald Trump has said he is recommending imposing 50% tariffs on goods from the European Union being imported to the United States. Our discussions with them are going nowhere, he said in a post on social media on Friday. The announcement marks an escalation of Trump's trade war with the EU, which has already been hit with a blanket 20% tariff on all U.S. exports, according to U.S. media. Their powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes, ridiculous corporate penalties, non-monetary trade barriers, monetary manipulations, unfair and unjustified lawsuits against Americans' companies, and more, have led to a trade deficit with the U.S. of more than $250 million a year, a number which is totally unacceptable, he wrote in a Truth Social post on Friday morning. Our discussions with them are going nowhere. Trump wrote, therefore, I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union, starting on June 1, 2025. The tariff Trump is considering slapping on the EU is more than double the size of the 20% initial, reciprocal, tariff that was briefly in place in April before he swiftly paused those tariffs to allow for further negotiations, CNN stated.
Osasua Radio, bringing you the news in a more digital way.